There's a voice in your head that's not even yours. It tells you you're lazy. It tells you discipline is too hard. It tells you you're broken. You think it's self-awareness. It's not. It's programming. Give me 5 minutes. We're going to rewire it. Everyone talks about discipline like it's some mythical superpower. Like it's reserved for a special breed of people. You know, the ones they wake up at 5 a.m., drink celery juice, run 10 miles before the sun's up. And if you don't, well, you just don't want it bad enough. You're not built like them. You're lazy, undriven, soft. That's the myth. That discipline is something you lack. That it's something you earn after enough suffering. That it's only for the select few who get serious. But here's what no one says out loud. You are disciplined. You've been disciplined for years. You just didn't realize it. You show up every single day for your distractions, for your comfort, for your patterns, for your scrolling, for your excuses. You never skip. You never ghost Netflix. You never procrastinate on procrastinating. You never forget how to talk yourself out of doing hard things. That's discipline. Just misdirected. You're consistent. You're reliable. You commit. You commit. The only difference. You're committing to what's easier, not what's better. And before you beat yourself up about that, pause, because it's not a character flaw. It's not because you're weak or lazy. It's because your brain is doing exactly what it was built to do. Avoid pain. Avoid discomfort. Avoid perceived danger. Avoid failure, embarrassment, rejection. And here's where it gets sneaky. Your brain doesn't care if staying the same hurts. It just cares that staying the same feels familiar. And the familiar feels safer than the unknown. So every time you try to break the cycle, your brain throws resistance. It tells you to wait, to hesitate, to overthink. Asterisk, not because you're undisciplined, but because you're following an old map, a map built in childhood, in school systems that punished mistakes, in households where rest was called laziness, in environments that rewarded compliance, not courage. And now, that outdated GPS keeps rerouting you away from the life you say you want, and back to the habits that keep you stuck. Not because you don't want growth, but because growth feels unfamiliar, and unfamiliar feels unsafe. So no, you're not undisciplined. You're just an expert at surviving the wrong way. And the shift isn't about trying harder. It's about pointing that same discipline somewhere new, somewhere uncomfortable, somewhere meaningful, somewhere that costs you now, but frees you later. Here's what no one tells you. The voice in your head. The one that whispers, you're lazy, you always mess this up, you're not disciplined enough, not smart enough, not consistent enough. That voice, it's not even yours. You didn't choose it, you inherited it. It came from your environment, from the outside world, from moments that didn't look traumatic on the surface but left deep marks underneath. It came from that teacher who rolled their eyes when you asked questions, the one who made you feel stupid for not getting it the first time. It came from that parent who only noticed when you made a mistake and stayed silent when you did something well. It came from the jokes your friends made, the labels you were given before you had the language to reject them. Lazy, disruptive, too much, not enough. It came from the system, one that confused boredom with rebellion and ignored the difference between being unmotivated and being underchallenged. And because you were too young to fight back, you did the only thing you knew how to do. You believed it, you absorbed it, you made it your internal narrator. The voice that told the story of you over and over again, and the longer it played, the more familiar it became. Until eventually it didn't sound like programming anymore. It just sounded like truth, like logic, like your voice of reason. But it's not reason. It's a loop, a broken pattern playing on repeat. One you never consciously chose but have obeyed for years. So now, every time you try to grow, every time you say, this time I'll be consistent, every time you make a plan, dream a dream, set a goal, that voice hijacks the process. It steps in before you even begin. Not to protect your potential, but to preserve your familiarity. Because here's the real kicker. Your brain doesn't crave success, it craves safety, and to your nervous system, it feels dangerous even if the old pattern hurts. Asterisk, it's predictable, and predictable pain is easier to manage than unfamiliar possibility. So you keep sabotaging your own growth. You keep abandoning the plan. You keep ghosting your own potential. Not because you're lazy, not because you're broken, not because you don't care, but because your brain still thinks the old pain is safer than the new discomfort. It's trying to save you from embarrassment, from judgment, from failure. But in doing so, it keeps you trapped in something worse, regret. The regret of staying small, of hiding your voice, of watching opportunities pass because the voice in your head convinced you weren't ready. And the truth, you were always ready. You were just taught to doubt it. So what do? You don't wait for the voice to disappear. You don't pray it gets quiet. You don't stall your life waiting for perfect clarity. You talk back. That's it. That's the move. Simple, but not easy. You stop letting the critic have the last word. You stop giving the mic to the part of you that never built anything. You hear you'll fail and you say, maybe, and I'll get back up stronger. You hear that's cringe, and you shrugged. Cool, I've survived worse than cringe. You hear you're not ready and you whisper, nobody is. Let's go anyway. You don't fight fear with silence. You fight it with language, with action, with repetition. Discipline isn't about perfection. It's not about flawless streaks or productivity porn. It's about resistance training with your thoughts. You don't train to become fearless. You train to become louder than fear. You build a response system, a reflex, a habit of defiance, not against the world, but against the false limits in your head. That voice, it'll keep showing up. Same script, same timing, every time you try to level up, but now it has competition. You with a stronger narrative, you with a new standard, you with a decision that your inner world will not be ruled by an outdated tape. Every time you act anyway, every time you post the thing, hit the gym, show up early, make the call, say no to what's easy, and yes to what stretches you. You're doing more than building a habit. You're rewriting the script. You're showing your brain something it forgot. This new pain, I can handle it. This discomfort, I won't die. This risk, it's worth the reward. This identity, I get to choose it, not inherit it. The voice will still try to argue, but now it's not a command, it's a suggestion. And you're free to decline. Here's the biggest lie you've been sold: that motivation comes before discipline, that one day you'll wake up ready, you'll feel lit, inspired, clear, driven. But that day, it doesn't come. You wait and wait and wait and waste entire seasons of your life waiting for a spark when you were the fire the whole time. Motivation doesn't come first, discipline does. Motivation is the receipt, the reward. It shows up after you act, not before. You don't get motivated to go to the gym. You go to the gym and then you feel proud. You don't wait until you're confident to speak up. You speak and then you realize the room didn't collapse. No one died. The sky didn't fall, and suddenly your confidence grows in the space your courage created. You don't wait for fear to go away. You just go scared. Because courage isn't the absence of fear. It's refusing to let fear set the rules. That's how real discipline is built. Not by being perfect. Not by having a perfect morning routine. Not by reading 50 self-help books. But by taking action. Small, shaky, unglamorous action. Even when the voice says you're not ready. You build discipline in the ugly reps. The early mornings you don't post about. The walks you take when your head is loud. The reps you grind through when nobody claps. Messy movement. Shaky movement. Ugly. Awkward. I-dan single quotes T-no what I single quotes M doing kind of movement. That's the truth. Discipline is not sexy. It's not viral. It's not a montage. It's quiet. It's uncomfortable. And it's always worth it. Because the moment you stop waiting to feel ready, the second you stop needing to feel worthy, and you just move anyway, you become dangerous, unstoppable, unshakable, free. And that voice in your head, still there, still talking, but now, just background noise. Like a song you've heard too many times, familiar, but powerless, because now you set the volume. Now you decide what plays next, asterisk. You don't need a better voice in your head. You need a louder one, yours. The one that remembers who you were before the world told you to shrink. The one that still dreams even after all the setbacks. The one that whispers, try again, when everything in you wants to quit. So talk back. Not just once, every time. Talk back when it's 6 a.m. and your bed feels like safety. Talk back when the mirror shows you every flaw except your strengths. Talk back when the numbers are low, the feedback is quiet, and the critic is loud. Take the shot. Even if your hands shake, take the walk. Even if your legs feel heavy with fear, take the leap. Even if there's no applause waiting. Because discipline isn't about feeling ready. It's about refusing to be ruled by a voice that was never yours to begin with. And when that old voice shows up again, when it rolls its eyes, when it calls you cringe, when it tells you to play small, smile, and let it watch you win, again, and again, and again.